What are your thoughts? What's been going on?
But I think there's been some progress. I mean, it's to be expected a few days before the end of negotiations that things have gone a bit underground. Ministers and chief negotiators are all hidden away. What we've seen here today at the Climate Leaders Summit is that at subnational level, subnational governments are really making a big move. We've heard from Scotland committing itself to reduce emissions by 42% by 2020. We've heard a range of fantastic initiatives from Canadian provinces, from US states, from Australian states, and from provinces both in the north and the south. So on the ground, the implementation is really beginning to happen. Now, they all emphasise that they need that international signal, and that's what we're looking to national governments to agree in the next 2 or 3 days. I'm fairly hopeful. I think if countries go as far as they've pledged in their sort of most ambitious pledges, then we don't get far enough, but we make a pretty good start. And I think there's a basis over the rest of this conference and then the coming months to ramp up the level of ambition and get as close to that 2-degree path as we can.
These sound like wonderful offers and pledges from these subnational governments, as you're saying. Honestly, what do you think the likelihood is that they'll be able to be met? What's the realistic chances?
I'm much more confident in their ability to meet their pledges than I often am with national governments, because these subnational governments, they consult with the businesses who operate in their jurisdiction. A lot of them set up task forces at the same time as they set their targets, so they really think through how are we going to do this, and they look at where the money's going to come from, how they're going to mobilise the community. And I think often because subnational governments are much closer to the actors working in their areas, they have a much better idea about how they're going to do it. And so we've seen examples from, I mentioned Scotland already, but a number of other states and provinces who have created a task force, got business, got community leaders, got government people together and think about, okay, how are we going to practically do this? And if you contrast that with the negotiations here, which for all the good best will they have, they're talking about sort of quite high level targets and large sums of money and architectural elements of an international deal. There's then another step to do to put this into practice. Now, we've seen some governments have done that. The EU has its 2020 package, the UK now has its low carbon transition plan, and a number of other countries as well. But there's still quite a lot of work to do about how you're going to deliver all these targets. So I'm confident the subnational governments can show the way, both not only in how they deliver their own targets, but in collaborating between them internationally.
And I think everybody else hopes you're right. Thank you very much for your time today.